Alright, now we go to multiplication of integers. So we will again determine the signs of the factors that we need to multiply. Just like in addition, we have like sign and we have the unlike sign. Okay, the rule here is this: when we multiply factors having like sign, the product will always be positive. Okay, let me repeat. When we multiply numbers, okay, or factors that have like sign, the product will always be positive. Example. So when we multiply negative 4 multiplied by, let's say, negative 2, as you can see, we don't use anymore here the multiplication sign like x, because we are now in algebra. Okay, and in algebra, x becomes a variable and not a operation of multiplication. So parentheses, or sometimes a dot, will signify that we are doing multiplication process. So again, we have the same sign, negative 4 multiplied by negative 2. This will give you, let's get the product first, 2 times 4 will give you 8. And since they have the same sign, the answer is positive. So the product is positive 8. Another one, we have negative 1 multiplied by negative 10. So we get the product first. 10 times 1 will give you 10. And check whether their signs are the same or not. So we have the same sign here. The answer is positive 10. The same true when we have positive 3 multiplied by positive 4. This will give us, again, the product of these two numbers, 3 and 4, is 12. And since they have the same sign, the answer is positive 12. And lastly, we have positive 5. I did not put the positive sign anymore. And then multiplied by positive 6, it will give you positive 30. Okay? So this seems to be easy to understand. What about unlike sign? For unlike sign, let's say we have negative 2 multiplied by positive 3. Okay? So you see, the two factors have different sign or unlike sign. Then we get again the product of these two numbers, which is 6. And then we can say that when we have unlike sign, your product will always be negative, regardless of the position of the numbers. Okay, let's have another one. This time positive 10 multiplied by negative 4. When we get the product of 4 and 10, it will give us 40. But since they had unlike sign, we say the product is negative 40. Another one, we have negative 7 multiplied by positive, let's say positive 2. We get the product of 2 and 7, that's 14. And then we use the sign negative since they have unlike sign. Okay, so there you have it for multiplication. Actually, we will proceed with division, but I want to expand the number of factors here. Sir, what if we have more than 2 factors? Let's say negative 2 multiplied by positive 1 multiplied by negative 1 multiplied by negative 2 and multiplied by negative 1. What will be the answer? First, if we have factors like 1, you disregard these numbers in terms of product. All you have to do is to multiply the numbers that are not 1. And those are 2 and 2. So 2 times 2 will give you a value of 4. That's very easy. But this time, we're going to ask ourselves, what will be the sign of this product 4? Is it going to be positive or negative? Okay. For simplicity, we just recite and consider only all the negative factors here. What are those? These are the negative factors. So we have 4 negative factors. We will not include the positive one. Okay? Then how do we do this? You start reciting from the first factor to the last factor, reciting it starting with negative. So let's do it. Negative, let me repeat. Negative, positive, negative, positive. Therefore, your final answer is positive 4. You need to recite all the negative factors starting with negative, and then alternating positive, negative, and positive until you reach the last factor. Alright, let's have another one. What if we have negative 10, positive 1, positive negative 1, positive 1, negative 1, negative 1, and lastly, negative 1. Again, as you can see, we have so many factors like 1. We will not consider that as a product of the numbers because they are only 1. Any number multiplied by 1 will give us the same number. So we'll just concentrate on the number 10, or simply say 1 times 10 will give us 10. Again, the question is, what will be the sign of this product 10? Is it going to be positive or negative? Now let's recite. Starting with this one, negative, positive, negative, positive, and negative. Finally, your answer is negative 10. Just remember, okay, just remember, you always start with negative. And then comes with positive, alternating, until you reach the last factor. Okay? And then we will go to division process. The good thing about division, it will never have so many numbers like this. For division, we only have 2 numbers. One is the dividend and the other one is the divisor. So now we come to the last operation, which is division. As you can see, I also include here the like sign and unlike sign. Why? Simply because the rules for multiplication is the same as that for division. Okay? We need to say, when we get the quotient for division, a quotient, the answer is quotient. Let's have an example. Okay? Say we have negative, for like sign, negative 20. This time, we're going to use either this sign or the fractional bar. Let's say negative 20 divided by like sign, right? Negative 4. Again, we get the quotient of this, that will give you 5. Now the question is, what will this 5 be? Is it positive or negative? Since these two numbers are same sign, okay, we have positive 5. Another example is positive 12, right, divided by positive 3. Okay, you get the quotient of this is 4, and then the answer is positive also. Okay, so these two can be written as negative 20 over negative 4. So as you can see, this is in the form of fraction, and the answer is still the same. Just like this one, we have positive 12, or simply 12 divided by positive 3 will also give us 4. We need to say the problem can be written this way or this way. Alright, so I think there's nothing confusing about this like sign. Okay, let's go to the unlike sign. Say we have negative 30 divided by, let's put a parenthesis here, positive 6. Okay, we get first the quotient. The answer is 5. And then since the two numbers have unlike sign, we say that this is negative. Right, one more example, we have positive 10, right, divided by negative 2. The quotient of this is again 5, and the sign is negative. Meaning to say, whenever you multiply or divide numbers, when they have like sign, the answer will always be positive, and when they have unlike sign, the answer will always be negative. That will always be the case. Okay? Now here, we will always have 2 numbers. We will not have any multiple numbers, just like in multiplication. You might think that these 4 fundamental operations on integers could be a little bit confusing. So let's just summarize. Okay? Whenever you do addition or subtraction, actually as I said before, there's no process in subtraction except you change the sign of the subtrahend and then you go back to addition. So when you are adding integers, the first thing you're going to do is to investigate the sign. Meaning, you are going to ask yourself, is the sign the same or not the same? So is it unlike sign or like sign? Whatever the answer to that question may be, that comes the process. So if it's like sign, you add the 2 numbers. If it's unlike sign, you subtract the 2 numbers. Whereas in multiplication and division, you start with the process. Okay? You get the product or the quotient first of the numbers, and then after that, you decide whether the sign to be used is positive or negative. So if the two numbers are similar sign or like sign, then the final answer, the product or the quotient, will always be positive. Otherwise, the answer is always negative if they have unlike sign. The process of finding the sum, the difference, the product or the quotients of integers becomes very easy. Just remember, it's always opposite. For addition, subtraction, sign first and then goes to process. Here, we have to find the product or the quotient and then decide whether the sign is positive or negative. Okay, once again, thank you.